Good evening, I'm Giuseppe Basile, I'm the NSN Trader. You can find at the website www.fibstalker.com. I also post regularly on Twitter using the Fibstalker nickname. Good evening, today is March the 6th, 2014, and in this video, in this third video of today, I'm going to review for you the four major forex pairs, the pound versus the US dollar, the Australian dollar versus the US dollar, the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, and the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar. So I will start from the pound versus the US dollar, and those who follow me know that I'm looking for this market to a sequence of measured move, and particularly an instance of an extension long here. And if you review my weekly newsletter, you will see why I trace this level and why it's so important for me that for price of this market to trade back into 165 38, 165.40. This number is the price level of the next extension long on the daily chart for the pound, and it's where we are going to find a lot of participation from program trading. Now, in the recent days, though, market clearly showed the program trading for some reasons using another level in an inner move here on the daily, and this is the highs to highs. Not something we could identify before to trade it here. It's only something we could identify after the fact here, but clearly after the fact the market is showing, as shown here, participation this 165.80. And when we observe the market responding to these levels, we need to take note of it, because the market will actually keep using these anchors, these levels, to trace significant retracement that explains price structure. So that's what I did. Now, moving to the 4-hour chart here, we have a sequence of measured move on the 4-hour, and you can see this very clearly here from highs to highs. We saw participation here 166.90, and Ibro price into the first target is this 167.65. Now you know that on this on this market I'm anticipating a move lower, so I will want to see what happens when this market trades all the way halfway back here. There is the possibility of this market is really open at the moment. Everything is possible. Price can actually move either lower or higher, and what we see here is that the long, the 167.30 level traded first, so there is a possibility for this market just continuing higher into the next target, which on the daily can be identified probably tracing these lows to highs, which is the corresponding level on the let me see, on the daily, on the 20-40 minutes, it will be from lows to highs here, but we cannot see that on that time frame, so I will need to change the scale for this market, and bear with me just a moment. So if the 167.31 works, price will actually move higher into 168 basically. But there is also a possibility for this market to just continue lower and break the sequence of measured move long here, and this would happen if we get below 167.19. So the plan of action here, if we get into 165.51 and we break a sequence of measured move on the 15 minutes, there's the possibility for this market to continue lower. This is a very high risk trade because the longs traded before here already. Moving to the Australian dollar versus the US dollar, um, we have on the on the daily chart here, we had violation of the sequence of measured move short, and we started this move higher here. And last week we were able to trade a profitable short. Congratulations to those who took the trade. The market recently has shown support from this level to highs. Again, this level could not be identified before the fact and traded. That's something that I could not do, and we could only identify this price after the fact. This is still important though. This is because it gives us a level 091 where we could see program trading taking profits, and then we could actually trade the next measure move. So it's very important to identify these levels and keep them in mind. So you will remember that last week I actually proposed a trade, and we got a good setup here. Unfortunately, the trade was not able to reach targets, and we didn't know that we had this level of support that I just showed on the daily chart. We didn't know we had this level until we saw participation of program trading, right? So I was just waiting and looking for this level of resistance of 89.75 to produce a target below current lows here, and the target was at 88.70, but market never reached that level. So the market on the other side reacted higher and shaped a sequence of measured moves, and this sequence actually traded and is keeping trading at the moment in extensions on this 240 minutes chart. So a plan of action here on this measure on this time frame would be to see whether this level of support the 090.72 with a stop below 090.05 will actually keep working, in which case the first target is going to be 091.28, and this would be in line with this 091.69, which is the first target of this measured move on the daily chart. And actually I just want to check the second target would be just 091.61, would be just into that level of first target on the larger time frame. So that's something to look at. The US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, starting from the daily chart, this market has been very interesting lately. On the weekly, we have a large level of resistance which can be identified by tracing lows, highs to lows here, and that came into play. And we were also able to we are also able to identify with 2 weeks in advance the next level of support, and it worked nicely. There was a nice trade to be taken there, and the price continued higher but could not make it again into the level of resistance, and eventually it started moving lower, and there were a number of good trades in this market that I've been calling last week. So I hope you profited from this. The last call was highs to lows in these last few days, and actually we got actually participation rate at the 111.16 with a stop above 111.35. The price went into the first target 110.03 and did not make it into the second target, but we were very close. And notice that the level of support, which is just below these lows here, did not trade just yet, while we have a trade in place, and actually we can see this because there is a level of resistance that has been identified. So a very high risky trade here would be to trade this level if still available tomorrow morning at 109.97, basically 110, with a stop above 110.08, 110.09 here. This is a very risky trade, so you have to be very careful here. As long have not traded just yet, this trade could well work, but it's better to wait for a larger retracement. Yeah, this would be a safer trade. The only problem is that we don't know whether price will get into this level and how price will behave when we get into this level. So this is the trade, but be very careful here. And finally, New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar. This market, it's in a bullish up move from the weekly. We can see highs to highs here. No, this is not the trade. Let's see what is the trace here. Let me find it for you. So we had this first move. We never get to the second target. So we have highs to highs, and this never traded. So this market is actually trading an inner measure move from lows to highs, and initially they failed, but then in 2013, mid 2013, this level started working. So we have on the weekly target above, on the daily, we know that there was a level of support here which was identified and respected 3 times, is the level starting at 081.14, and we know that this level has targets above, and the market has started moving aggressively towards that target 087.46. So that's where eventually we are going to move in this market. Now there's one thing that I want to show you which is actually very important in this market, and I want to adjust the scale here to show you this. After the fact, we could identify that this market, program trading in this market, is actually using for some reason these highs to highs here. We could not identify this for trading purposes, but after the fact we could, and actually we did, and 082.60 acted as support and brought price into this 084.23. So at the moment we are still seeing price, this price moving higher, and actually we have a second target. The first target of that measure move was it already, and now this price is moving towards this 085.50, and if we get there and we get a retracement, as we have targets above here around 087.46, now we will know that we will be able to actually trade the extension long. So while we cannot bet for price to get into this 085.50, actually on a retracement we will be able to pick this price and maybe at around 84.80 and bring it up into 87.40. So very good reward to this trade. Let's see if that is going to happen. So this is it for this market. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish you a very good Friday and weekend. Bye bye now, and keep in touch.